Hey everyone, welcome to Bleacher Talk. I'm Claudia Faust with Jordan Spurgeon here, and I think we're both just in pretty good moods. We had really busy weekends between high school football, college football. I was in Provo this past week, and Spurge made it out to Tucson for the U of A game. So it's been a busy week. What was the highlight of your football weekend? You can even choose college route if you want to. I know we do mostly high school, but we can keep it real here. What did we like?
Yeah, there was a lot of crazy stuff, but NAU was the shining star by far. I mean, they've got 74 kids from Arizona on that team, and they showed out all the touchdowns. There was an Arizona player involved in the scoring, whether it was through the air or on the ground. Defensively, Brady Shuck, the former Hamilton Husky, who also had a pretty good weekend, if I do say so myself. He had a pick six. The Huskies, obviously, big game against Bishop Gorman. You talked about it on Audibles this week. That was a huge win last second. So there was just so much good football in the state of Arizona all weekend long. But NAU, what Chris Paul's doing, beating Arizona, extending the losing streak to 15, it was quite a scene to witness, and I haven't really seen anything like that before.
I've got to say there was some good football in Provo too. I know you're like, why are we talking about Utah? But I was checking out Devin Brown, chatting with him. He is the former Queen Creek quarterback, which I can't say that three times fast. I can't believe I actually said it properly. Queen Creek quarterback. If you say
There
it
you
three,
go.
but yeah, it was really cool catching up with him. He's committed to USC at the moment, and he's been committed. But with the coaching changes there, just kind of catching up with him on his thought process, which right now he's kind of getting offers left and right, and he's made an impression in Utah. Really good player. I didn't know him last year, but Brad was telling me like he's really like beefed up a little bit. So he's got a lot of potential. That was cool to see. We cover ASU here. That was pretty rough. Good time for me. I enjoyed myself. It was a good time being there. Penalties, pretty rough, but it was a really cool experience overall. And honestly, I gotta give it to the BYU fans. There's so many people that stopped on the plane actually to tell Brad and I like, hey, what'd you think? What'd you think of the fans? And everybody was just kind of like, those are the nicest fans I've ever met. And it's so true, but like, they probably just felt bad. Let's be real. Like that was so rough. They probably just felt bad. I'm feeling a little bad right now too. Let's bring in Bruce Cooper. I'm sorry. I'm going to start rubbing it in your faces. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, but we've got our quick pick segment, and let's check out the leaderboard. I'm leading 9-0. This is ridiculous, guys. Like, I swear you guys think I'm probably like talking the talk and like I totally know what I'm doing. I don't. I don't know what's happening. Good luck, I guess. But right now,
Claudia, what I find really fascinating is that you could tell our viewers that you don't know what you're doing and you're lucky. But privately, you talk so much trash to me and Jordan. You say, hey, look, I got you guys, but you have no idea what you're doing. I'm the best. Look, I get it. No problem.
all right. You guys are 7-2. And like, honestly, this week's quick picks kind of had a tough time with them. So this is definitely like the opportunity where like your guys' knowledge is probably going to pay off. Let's just get into the first pick. We've got Saguaro at Chaparral, kind of a rivalry game. Bruce, it's your turn to talk some smack. So let's hear it.
Well, look, my strategy, me and Jordan, we were talking off air, and our strategy was to let Claudia go first and let's mimic her picks. That way we're assured of not being embarrassed any further. But hey, having said that, and me starting off, look, I'm looking at a Chaparral team that has won 2 in a row after its opening season loss to Queen Creek. And yeah, Brett Barnes definitely has a solid, very talented team up there. I know Anthony Lucas is an all-world defensive lineman. Swirls coming off a bye week after a squeaky game against ALA Queen Creek. I was at that game 2 weeks ago. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stay with Jason Munns and his Swirl Sabercats. They're just too deep, too talented. Even when they were challenged in that ALA Queen Creek game, they came back out in the second half and made some good adjustments. So I just think that they just have too much all the way around. I like Swirl 24 over Chaparral 10, even though it's the road game for the Sabercats.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go in the middle on this one. I'll go first on the next one. I didn't get the memo that I was to go first. sorry. I'll give you my input. I think I'm going to disagree on this one. I do think the Firebirds are going to win this one. That Saguaro game against ALA Queen Creek, that should have been, I think, like an easy win. And the fact that it wasn't makes me question if they're going to beat the Firebirds. I just don't think it's going to be that easy. They got an extra game under their belt. They've had a tougher schedule so far as well. So I'm just going to go with the Firebirds here. And I keep forgetting to give scores usually. So I'm going to go 24-21. I think it's going to be close. Spurge, whose side are you on?
Bruce, the offensive line just opened up a hole for us to go through. She just picked Chaparral. We have to disagree with her. I'm going with Saguaro. I'm really excited for this game, though. Two really excellent quarterbacks. Ridge Dosical for Saguaro is really having himself a good year. I know he's kind of trying to figure things out. And Braden Silbor at Chaparral helped carry that team to a title last year. I was at that game against Highland. They played really, really well, and he stood up in big moments. The difference for me is going to be the SaberCats on defense. You got two guys that are really leading the charge on the defensive line. Tristan Monday is just unstoppable. There are not any offensive linemen that I know of in the state right now that could slow down Tristan Monday. He's a beast. He gets after the ball in the passing game and in the running game. And then in the defensive secondary, Cole Shivers, a lockdown corner. He's going to give Brayton Silber some fits with some of his reads. And so I think Saguaro wins this game somewhere in the ballpark of 27-20.
We're kind of in the same-ish ballpark here. I will go first this time. Our next matchup is McClintock at Tempe. Honestly, this is a tough one to kind of predict. Both haven't won a game yet. McClintock, I think, has had the harder schedule so far, having played Saguaro. I think just that experience alone is probably what's going to set them apart. And I'm just gonna stop there. I think they're going to win 29-21. I'm curious what you guys are going to do now that I've given my take first. Who do you think's winning that one?
This time I have to agree. I think Tempe playing at home is good for them as well, but I do think McClintock, like you said, has played a better schedule, a tougher schedule, and they've been able to score more points on offense. So I just think they've already experienced a little bit more growth than Tempe has. I like what both coaches are doing, trying to kind of rebuild the programs. Corbin Smith over there at McClintock is really trying to retool a little bit, and Todd Hanley at Tempe. I know Evan Osherwitz on our team talked with them before the season and kind of got the gist on them. I just think the offense right now is just a little bit more in tune for McClintock. So I think they're going to win this game somewhere in the ballpark of 25-14.
All righty. Let's hear it.
Wow. You know what? I do agree with you, Jordan. Everything that Claudia said, I think is pretty much spot on. I look at Tempe's team. You talked about Todd Hanley's squad trying to rebuild there. They've been outscored 120-6 in their two games. And yes, McClintock has played the tougher schedule. So I do like McClintock. I know this used to be a real spirited rivalry, but I don't see much in the way of a contest in this. I like McClintock pretty big. I like McClintock 30 and Tempe 6.
All right. The last matchup we have is Desert Ridge at Highland. I said I was going last on this one, guys. We gotta, you guys gotta first. Bruce, I'll let you go ahead.
Wow. Look, I know Roy Lopez, longtime coach over at Marcos, and he's been around. A very solid coach replacing Jeremy Hathcock there at Desert Ridge. Hathcock's off to Lakeside Blue Ridge. But Desert Ridge, after getting blown out by Hamilton, has come back with two shutouts in a row. They've outscored their opponents 80-0 the last 2 weeks, Ironwood Ridge and Dobson. But let me tell you something. Brock Farrell, what he has done at Highland High School, this guy has rebuilt that program to where you have to consider them in the conversation of Open 8 division contender. That's where they are right now. And so I know they're coming off a bye week, but it's hard for me to go against them. I'm going to go Highland 30, Desert Ridge 20.
All right, Spurge, your turn.
Yeah, Highland, to me, what they've done with their program is really impressive. I saw them last year in the title game against Chaparral. They played really well. in that championship game just fell a little bit short. What stands out to me is their heart. Like Gage Daly, their quarterback, he's only 5'10", not the biggest guy, but he shows a lot of heart, a lot of grit, and he's just a playmaker. Some guys, the size does not matter. And he's one of those guys that with the talent around him, especially with some of the lengthy receivers they've got and a really good offensive line, he just makes plays. And so I just think that's going to be too much for the Desert Ridge defense to handle. I think Highland's going to win this game probably 28-14.
All right. This is just a shot in the dark. Desert Ridge, because you guys didn't go that route. It's either going to put me ahead or it's going to be the deal breaker this week, I think. So I'm going to go Desert Ridge. Simple as that. And I'm going to go 28-21.
So it's there. We're either going to be tied through 3 weeks or Claudia's going to have a 4-game lead, Bruce. This is kind of scary. I'm now really nervous for Friday, but also confident because I think our picks are on the money so far.
Hey, look, we've thought that through the first few weeks, right? It ain't happened. I mean, it's hard to go against Claudia. I mean, she's been a perfect, stellar, spotless forecaster for 3 straight weeks. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like we're sitting in the catbird seat because she went with Chaparral and Desert Ridge and we did the opposite. No, we got to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, she's.
My parents think I'm really lucky. We could get into luck in general. I don't think luck is like really a real thing. I think you like usually work for it and then lucky things happen. I don't know. Maybe I am lucky. Maybe I have like a horseshoe hiding under here somewhere. I don't know. Anyways.
Why you just tell her like you is? You know more than me and Jordan. I mean,
you got all the sources. We know what's going on. You got this.
Over research. I'm trying.
Speaking of knowing what's going on, Horizon High School off to a fantastic start this season. We're going to catch up with new head coach Andy Liddon after the break, so definitely stay tuned so you can hear what's going on up in North Scottsdale. Welcome back to Bleacher Talk. We're joined now by Coach Andy Liddon over at Horizon High School. And Coach, your team's off to a fantastic start. Everyone in the high school scene is talking about how the Huskies are 3-0 against some really, really tough teams. You beat Pinnacle for the first time this year. You guys beat Desert Edge this past week, 31-30, an open division team last year. So I guess the first question is just where do you feel about your program? Because you can't get off to a better start than 3-0. There's probably still things to work on, but
those 3 games we haven't really played our cleanest game that we want to yet. But we're right where we want to be. When we had our senior meeting at our camp in Tonazona, that was our major goal that we left from our meeting, is that we wanted to go 3-0 and go into our bye week and have all our later goals that are set, which is to make the open and to win a state championship. And so we're right where we want to be. We're using this bye week to clean up some of the issues that we've had in terms of turnover issues on the offense, which has kind of been the one major negative that we've had, is we've turned the ball over a little bit too much. But we've been covered by our defense playing stellar and our special teams making key plays. So.
Do you think that this 3-0 start, especially against the teams that you've played, is giving your guys the confidence that the open division is in sight?
So Horizon's new to me, so I haven't had the weight of the Pinnacle losses, of the other 14 losses that they had, and so I think that was a big barrier for a lot of our kids. And so once they knew they can beat Pinnacle, I think that things have just snowballed since then in terms of believing and buying in. And so I think with each win, our kids grow more confident. And so I think we're getting better play and just more self-assuredness going into game plans and executing that. Yeah.
You mentioned your defense and kind of how they're really where you want them to be for the most part. The 2 guys that stood out to me so far are Daniel Santiago and then Tinsley over there in the secondary. What separates those 2 guys and makes them kind of the special players that they're showing they can be this year?
Well, Booby is a load. He's a big guy, and he commands that you got to be able to block him with 2. And if not, he's going to make you pay. He's got a high motor. He's incredibly athletic for a guy that's 280 pounds and incredibly strong. And so He really anchors our line. We put him at both the 1-tech and 3-tech, and he just moves really well. And we've actually kind of, in my opinion, overplayed him at times where he's gotten tired, but he's done a great job pushing through it and helping us make big plays. And then Ethan Tinsley has done a great job in terms of locking down some of their best receivers. Our first game plan against Pinnacle was to really make Juice have to earn it and work for it. And I thought all of our corners did a great job, including Ethan. And then in the Sunrise Mountain game, they threw the ball a lot because they realized that we were going to shut down the run game or that we were adamant about doing that. And he was down the island a lot, and he did a great job with that. So those two seniors have done a great job leading our defense.
Do you think there's any players, we like to know this as journalists, what are we missing? Are there any players that are just flying under the radar and you're like, I can't believe no one's talking about this?
Jack Bodemuller is a beast at our Sam linebacker spot. Unfortunately, we didn't have him for different reasons last week. But that guy makes plays. He cleans up a lot of problems that happen in the front, and he fixes things. And he's had key picks in the last couple of games. And I think he's done just an outstanding, stellar job. And then Cole Linyard has made big play after big play. And so I would say that those two juniors are still kind of flying under the radar. And I think they're going to get a lot of press here pretty soon.
Yahtzee, where does that come from? Yahtzee,
sure.
Where does that come from?
That's that big play. Yahtzee comes from, I'm just an excitable guy. And so the family used to play Yahtzee, and that was one of those things that we like to do. And so any kind of big play that happens, Yahtzee is something that I've always screamed. And then really it happens a lot in passing league because you score a lot and our kids kind of take into it. So I say it a whole lot in passing league anytime we score. And so when big plays happen in football too, everybody's screaming out.
Are you the best at Yahtzee in your family then? Do you own the Yahtzee?
No, I'm horrible at it, actually. That's why I get so excited to say it. My wife kills me for sure.
It's a special moment when you get to say it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm curious because, you're new to the program. Ty Wisdom, kind of left you in a pretty good spot. What could you say about the team that you saw when you came in, and what adjustments or changes have you made, or have you kind of changed the motto of the team?
So the best thing that I would say about this job has been what Coach Wisdom has left in terms of culture. The kids are awesome in the weight room. They were excited about football. I think that they had a great football culture, which allowed me to come in and really use a lot of that old culture and make changes that we needed to. But in all reality, most of this success comes from years past of great culture and then bringing in an era of new and excitement. And I think that it was just a really good mix to start.
So other than kind of cleaning up a few things on offense, what else do you think your team needs to do to get an open division berth come playoff time?
I think that we need to make sure that we stay within ourselves and continue to try to go 1-0 each week. One of the things that we've really talked to our kids about since we've gotten a lot of good press and going 3-0 in our schedule is how do we weather the fact of good things happening to us and staying humble and hungry and making sure that we're continuing to get better every day. And so we've really tried to put that into perspective. One of the things that I got constantly around with other coaches here on campus and other teachers is you're like, how are you guys going to play a game after that Pinnacle game? And so we really had to talk about it and talk about culture and talk about what do we want here, and does the Pinnacle game really matter if we don't continue on what we do? And so we've really talked about that sports psychology aspect of trying to stay into the moment, not being too self-assured of ourselves, to stay humble, and also weather storm when bad things happen, like last week losing a couple starters, to be able to overcome those things when they come to you.
Well, Coach, I know we're both so happy to have you on. I hope that we're hearing you yell Yahtzee on the sidelines real soon. I'm going to be ears open now, waiting to hear that.
Yeah, I hope to say it a lot too. That's a good thing. Oh.
Great. Thank you so much, Coach, for your time. Coming up after the break, we've got our social spotlight, one of the best segments of the week. A lot of things to talk about around Arizona high school football on social media, so stay tuned. You're watching Bleacher Talk.
Hey, welcome back to Bleacher Talk. Claudia Faust and Jordan Spurgeon here. And it may be our top 3 segments of the show. Top 3.
Top 3 for sure. Yes. Yes.
we obviously, we have 3 segments. So anyways, we've got our social spotlight right now. We always have a lot of fun with this, just scouring through social media, finding all the cool things that students and coaches are posting and doing on Friday nights. And, we love Friday nights. So Spurge, what did you find? What do we like?
Well, first, let's go to Sunday and find 2 former Friday night stars here in Arizona at Chandler High School. Bryce Perkins posts a photo with Brett Hundley. Both played quarterback at Chandler High School, now both in the NFL as backups. A lot of people are buzzing about Bryce Perkins in the preseason the last 2 years. He's playing pretty well. Brett Hundley been in the league a little bit, and they showed some love facing each other as the Colts and the Rams played on Sunday, with the Rams coming out on top.
Well, now let's check out at Sunrise Mountain. Easton Black, he just piped this 52-yarder in a huge rivalry game against Liberty. That's what the quote says. Obviously, the fan taking the video, or parent, whoever it was, I don't know, probably a parent, got really excited. Very cool video. Love when you see that posted. And yeah, he's a five-star kicker. So good stuff there.
Great stuff as always. Very hyped. You know what else gets me hyped? Hype videos. Some talented videographers all across the state at some of these high schools. So we're going to go over Coach Francisco Rangel at Trevor G. Brown High School. The head coach there posted a highlight video that was made, a hype video from their game on Friday night, and it is spectacular. It's actually made by an ASU student, Jason Landis, who goes to the Watts School of Public Service and Relations, and he did a really good job with this video. We're not going to have the whole thing here, but you guys should check it out on Twitter because it gets you really hyped, and you might want to run through a brick wall if you're playing here.
Is it bad that the first thing I thought of when you said run through a brick wall? I'm a very big Harry Potter fan, so I was immediately like, platform 9 3/4. Anyways, hopefully everyone else likes Harry Potter. I've got the whole collection. Big fan. Also a big fan of the Hamilton game last week. That was just a blast to watch. I've watched the highlights over and over and over again, and really you only need to watch the last 1.5 minutes of highlights to get the point. And so this is a fun post right here. We've all seen the how it started, how it's going post. Kind of were really trending during COVID. I'd like that we're bringing it back like this. We've got the defensive backs coach at Hamilton, and Nico Markell just played his heart out. So I think this is super appropriate, really funny. Maybe some people don't like, sorry, maybe we need to have it censored. Maybe you don't like the lion with the blood on its mouth, but you know what? He really, really took it to him. So I think it's funny, and I think it's well-deserved.
Absolutely. And we've got a 5th one this week. We're changing things up because last Friday I was out at ALA Gilbert North against Yuma Catholic. Big rivalry game, top 2 teams in 3A heading into it. And I was surprised to see before the game they were setting up a wrestling ring. I've never seen a wrestling ring at a football game, and I was curious, and they didn't really mention it much before the game. And then at halftime, they had former professional wrestlers out there wrestling. They were putting on a show with a mic that kept cutting in and out, and they were just yelling and going after each other. One of them, the guy's name was Deuce. The other wrestler stole his jacket when he took it off and put it on. He's like, "You can't wear my Deuce jacket." And they just had a good time. Finally gets finished after like 10 minutes long. I think both coaches of the teams were like, "Hey, this halftime's a little bit too long," but the crowd was digging it. The players dug it. And ALA Gilbert North, they might want that at more of their games because they beat Yuma Catholic and they were not favored to win that game. They played like they were wrestling and they did a good job after that.
I don't know how you top that, or like, what do you do like next? Like, what do you do this week now? Like, you had wrestlers last week, like skydivers this week.
There's only so much you can do.
Now you have to capitalize on it, and you started really high, so kind of tough. But anyways, Friday nights are always so much fun for us. We're really looking forward to this Friday. And don't forget, when you're out there, hashtag Bleacher Talk so we can spotlight your stuff. We love it all. Follow Spurge at Spurge, real easy with a underscore at the end there. And then me at Claudia and Faust. We always have so much fun talking to each other, talking with y'all. Hopefully you're having as much fun as we do, and keep watching Bleacher Talk because we love it.
Adios.